Okay. So this is last 2, 3 questions.
Sure.
Wait, this is gonna be our landing. We finally landed to the island. Put my 2-piece on. Okay. For the Lord. I'm sorry.
Okay. Ready? Focus.
Okay.
Focus season. Okay.
Okay. Miss Michelle Kirby, turn the light back on, boo. Get your copy. Okay, Michelle, talk about the processing of the book. So what are the pros and cons of being an author?
I don't think there are any cons at all.
All pros?
That's right. To me, anyway. I mean, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
And I self-published for my first book, so I did it all. I had help with photography. So one of my friends did the front photo, which is actually across the street from Redemption at Airport Road.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Standing on the white fence.
Whoa, are you serious?
Yeah, and if you open the book this way, it's the full spread. So that's the entire Airport Road, and it was sunset.
It actually is.
Yeah. And right where that's where they parked the overflow.
So baby, you didn't think you was gonna fall?
No, I didn't.
I would have tore that fence all up, boy.
So, and then I sent the photo to my graphic designer, and I kind of did a mock of this with the colors, and I just said this is kind of my vision, and then she did that.
And that would be Latressa.
Yes.
Boy, I love my baby.
Yes.
She about this short.
Yes.
Let me tell you, so that thing can put some stuff together. She's good. She really about this short though, like for real. I love you, Trissy Poo. What's the best way to market your book?
Just organically, just on your Instagram and your Facebook and talking to people. I didn't want to put a lot of capital behind doing all these other things, but I was blessed with magazine, moments, and talk shows and stuff like that that kind of trickled in that I really wasn't expecting, that I was really blessed to be a part of and here as well. But marketing is just being who you are everywhere you're at, talking about your book, being relatable. And then constantly I had on a schedule morning, noon, and night to post about the book. So you just copy and paste your information on your notes, and you stay consistent, and your audience knows they're gonna see something at a certain time.
She said organically. Goodness, how elegant. Or I do it organically. It's just authentic. It's just me.
It's just how it works.
She alright. I love my baby. So you talked about, starting at 7, writing your book, but were there any days you were just like, oh God, my mind's so tired.
Yes, there were days I just wasn't feeling it, and I was okay with that. And that's why I say 95% of the time I hit it because the dedication was so strong and the commitment was there. That even when I didn't feel like writing, I would write stuff down, but I would pick up a different book and just write and see what came out. And if it was anything that was worth going in the book, then I'd take pieces of it. But most of the time, I didn't have much of a problem. But when I did, it was tough, but I wasn't forcing it. When you force it, you don't produce quality or truth.
Ooh. Dang. That's how little Latina attitude coming out. Like bam. Like, boom, my bad. Okay, I got it though.
Sorry.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, back to the book. Okay. I met your sister a couple of years ago. I think her name is Shelly.
Yeah.
Okay. How was it now, understanding how difficult it was when you were a little girl, but now that you're an adult and y'all have this great bond, when you think about it, is there still some type of pain in the heart that you just like, God, I just remember the suffering I went through when we had to separate, when y'all were just split as little girls? How was that?
It was difficult, and I think more for her because I'm the older sister. I have gone through tons of therapy sessions and have found my peace with it and know that I did what I had to do, even though it sacrificed relationships and it sacrificed things that I would have hoped weren't in the mix of my life and my upbringing. But I just feel more responsible, like the big sister so sometimes it does ache a little bit to know, could I have stopped her from suffering or from feeling the void of not having me there, or could I have gone back more times to tell her that I loved her and that I didn't forget about her. And so some of those things are touchy for me because I love her and because she's in a different state.
Right.
It's not like I can communicate to her often with a hug or
Right.
with a comment, and just things, working that through and just hoping and knowing that she's okay. You know, she's raising children on her own. She's engaged to be married. She has her first house.
That's
and
awesome.
you know, she works for the police department. Like, she's doing so many wonderful things, and I'm so proud of her. So I would think that part of us growing up also shaped the grand woman she is today. So, you know, I don't take God out of any equation and say, well, I had more power and I should have done this and this and that. But obviously, as humans, you do have regrets, or you do have thoughts of, you know, could I have done that better? Could I have done something differently? So
I think that's just a big sister. Because I'm the oldest. I have a half brother.
You just want to nurture and cover, and when you make a final decision and you do something to break away from a situation and it involves others, you're like, okay, God.
Yeah. You talked about sneaking out of your mother's home. But you were doing it for freedom, to start over. What advice would you give young teenagers who just think it's cool to sneak out the house? And I can't personally relate to it, but I had a family member, very young, she's a teenager, and she snuck out of the house, and I was just like, well, when I was 14, 15, 16, I would have done that because my mama crazy. I was like,
she would have hit you with the shoe before you left, because she would have heard something crack and be like,
I was just like, let me get some popcorn and a Coca-Cola and sit back and watch how this gonna play out.
Right?
Like, I was just like, is it just I'm young, I'm invincible, I'm unstoppable?
Honestly, for me, it wasn't that at all. So I can't relate to the kids that kind of go out, you know, behind their parents' back and go to a friend's house or go meet up with a boy or go to a nightclub. I don't relate to that. When I left, it was out of pure desperation, and I ran away. So I snuck out through the back window of my bedroom because I wasn't going to announce to her that I was leaving.
You just knew you had to.
I just knew that was the day, and I had a plan, and I had someone waiting for me downstairs with a car, and I had my backpack and stuff, and I was just ready to start over and kind of close that chapter in my life, because I didn't want to dishonor God or my mom and hit her back.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the only reason.
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
honestly, I was kind of tired of also the situation and being brought up that way, and the abuse and the constant negativity, that it was just, when you are raised with a large pit in your gut and that's your feeling every day, there comes a time where you just want to either throw it up or release it and never feel it again.
And I know you're a competitive type woman because you're very fierce.
Thank you. I've been called that a few times.
She be fierce. So I know you talked about in the book about being involved in sports. So did sports give you a great deal of confidence that maybe wasn't coming from home?
It sure did, and it's the only thing, because I didn't have the body to be promiscuous and to be all that when I was young. Like, I was really slim.
Yeah, I remember that in the book.
But because when girls develop really fast and they don't have love at home, they find it somewhere else, and they have the look to do that.
Yeah.
I look like a little stick. So my power was sports. I hung out with boys a lot. They were my best friends. I challenged them always before class to, on the handball court, and I was just immersed in that because it's the only thing that made me feel good. And it's where I found my worth and I found my value. Like, I didn't have drama and problems in school like today because we didn't have social media. It was just, you were there, you were present, you actually talked to people, you shared a soda, you shared snacks. And talking about snacks, my favorite breakfast was Doritos and a Now and Later on the train platform waiting. It was so healthy. I just felt so ready for that sport that day. But to find yourself, if you have a situation at home or if you have a situation at school that you're not talking about, number one, I encourage you to talk about it and get help. But if you can't, remember that you have the power of how you feel, and you really do. It doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah.
Immerse yourself in things you love and in habits. It could be photography, it could be sports, it could be running, it could be weightlifting, anything. It could be a creative outlet to where you're drawing and you ask for a small home studio, and even though you don't have the best home setup or the home life, best home life, maybe a pastor or a friend or someone will hear that that's something you like to do. Find a creative outlet. Don't think that you're less than. And everything is temporary. You're gonna feel like that, but then one day you're gonna feel on top of the world. So hold on to the life motions of the ebbing and flowing, because then you won't feel like you always have to be happy, you always have to feel accepted, you always have to measure up. There's days where you don't even like you.
Yeah,
So you look in the mirror and you like this morning I was like, this hair, I need to do something about it. And so hopefully it's okay. But like some days you just don't feel it. It doesn't matter. I'm a life coach, I'm a motivational speaker. And I travel, I empower people, I speak at places, and some days I'm just like, God, really? Like, I don't want to do this. I can't. And there's just that little fire in me that says, well, be obedient and just do it. You'll feel better afterwards.
I think, I'm glad that you touched on that. What was your favorite sport, though?
It really depends. Like, it used to be softball, and I used to love running track, and now I'm all about volleyball.
Really?
I love it. If I could just spike that in
You
front
know
of
what?
you and make
I
you
do.
feel like this small. Like,
But you know,
and then I'll hug you though after.
but the last Olympics, I was really tuned into volleyball.
Yeah.
I said, you know, I
For
can,
some reason I was like, oh, I can do that. I can wear those little shorts too.
I can wear a two-piece.
I'm dreaming.
I can spike that ball.
Yeah.
Don't hit my rolls, so don't hit me in the back rolls, honey, because I promise I'll come across that.
It'll boomerang and just whack you right back.
Honey, don't leave my rolls alone, because they precious. You wish you had one too. Okay. With your past experiences, talking about jail, drugs, looking back now, how would you say God protected you? And I'm going to tell you why I'm asking. When I finished this book, I just said, I know Michelle, but it just seems like the whole time things were not going well, she still had morals and values.
I still did. And
These kids nowadays, that's out of the question. And I know we come from a different generation, but why do you think God still protected you? Because he knew you were going to come back one day. You knew you were going to get it. You're going to get it together. We just have to go through.
I think in life we just always have to go through whatever we're going to go through.
Yeah.
So whether we're on the path, the right path with the Lord and following Him, or going to church with our parents, or doing whatever we're told and being obedient, or we choose to do our own thing, you're going to wind up in the same spot, you know? And that same spot is your destiny, and it's your calling, and it's your will. And I think God, just because He had a greater calling on my life, He never let, like when I got mugged on the train station, like to me it was funny. Other people would have been devastated, or you know, or would have been hurt, or would have, I had a gun pulled to me and nothing happened. So I had my backpack stolen that had a firearm in it, because I used to have to protect myself, and nothing ever came to really bite me in the butt.
Right.
Like even when I wound up in jail, it was because I was in a situation to where I was giving my paychecks to someone that I was staying with, and it was kind of like a little bit of a brainwashing situation, to where I felt like that's what I needed to do to be able to stay there. And because I was young, I had no other option. So where I was working, we decided to just, well, let's pass a few free things on this conveyor belt. Nobody's gonna be able to tell. Until the authorities came in handcuffs later, I was like, Scooby, like, what is happening? Like, I was in total shock. And when I was in jail, the girls thought I was the cutest thing in the cell. And I'm like, that can be good or bad. Like, I watch movies, and I'm like, just feed me because I'm hungry. And they actually gave me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And the next day, the person I was staying with got me out of jail, and it was like nothing happened, but it was a huge scare for me. And it was one of those things that I don't talk about lightly and say, well, haha, I didn't, you know, I got caught, but whatever. I got out the next day. I'm not nonchalant about it,
Right.
because it could have been more
Oh,
serious
yeah.
than
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and it could have stayed on my record.
Mhm.
And God has always been there for me,
Yeah.
because I actually had the store drop the charges.
Wow.
And they were
Wow.
like, you know what,
Yeah.
she was a great employee for 3 years,
Yeah,
and something went on here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we know Michelle.
Yeah.
And it was just because I always, even doing the bad things, I
Mhm.
always still had that moral line that I didn't cross.
Yeah.
And to me, God paid, like
Yeah.
he blessed me for that
Mhm,
obedience, is how
mhm.
I feel.
And that's how I felt after I read the book. I said, she still had a lot of morals and values. Like, I don't see the rebellious side of anything.
I was more on protect mode, and still trying to find myself, and
Yeah.
trying to find worth, and
Mhm.
looking for it in the wrong places at
Mhm.
times, and not doing great things. And
Mhm.
you just look back at your life and you say, God, would I have done it all the same? Probably, because that was my life and those are the choices I made. I can't blame anyone
Yeah,
else, because
yeah.
someone
Yeah.
treats you some way, right?
Yeah.
They can have a nasty
Yeah.
attitude with you, or beat you, or
Mhm,
abuse you,
mhm.
but it's how you react
Yeah,
to
it
it,
is.
and then how you carry that through
It
to your
is.
future
Yeah, it
is what's important.
I know in the book you briefly talked about your father. Did you find closure after meeting him the first time as an adult?
Did. Mhm.
And you were okay with that closure?
I was totally okay with it, because it was what I wanted it to be.
Mhm, mhm.
When you come into a situation and you come in as a victim,
Mhm.
then you lose your power.
Right.
When I went into the situation, when I spoke to him, and he finally picked up on that other line, and I finally had the
Mhm,
right number
mhm.
after asking for years,
Mhm.
I felt I was in control. So while I was still a little nervous, I still sometimes felt like that little girl with butterflies in her stomach. Will he like me? Will he love me? Will he approve? Will we have a relationship? God just shut it down and was like, can you just let me do what I've already predestined for you? And so I led the journey to go meet him that evening with that peace in my heart. And something clicked during our conversation that told me, Michelle, just don't get too clingy.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't emotionally invested, because I was 27, pregnant with my first baby, and when I have to tell my biological father what I'm wearing because he doesn't know what I look like, it kind of makes it surreal.
Right.
Like I'm honestly meeting a stranger. So when you tell me, you're not gonna call me dad, no.
Yeah.
Your name is so and so.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna keep it that way,
yeah,
because I'm grown,
Yeah.
and you haven't been in my life.
You missed so much time.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
when I called him back, because we were supposedly gonna keep in touch, when I called him back and he didn't pick up and the number was changed, it was like, the number you have reached. I'm like, doesn't surprise me. And it was okay.
And I felt like I understood you because I grew up in a fatherless home. My mom raised me, and I did some things when I was a teenager, and now as an adult, I didn't realize I was doing those things because I was missing my other identity.
Right.
And he just lived like 15 minutes, 20 minutes from my mom. But and he came, but my mom had to force him to come. My mom was cussing him out. You need to come talk to your daughter. You need to come see her and come spend some time with her because
Like, you half responsible for her. Get over here.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what she was saying. And now as an adult, I'm just like, I'm okay if I see him, and I'm okay if I don't.
Right.
And I pick up the phone and call him and just check on him. But there's days I'm just like, I'm not in the mood for you.
Right.
And it's probably because you just weren't there.
Exactly.
So just let me get out of my feelings and out of my emotions.
Right.
And then I'll call you back.
Right.
But I'm just not feeling it right now.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Right.
So just give me a couple of days and then I'll call you back. I mean, and I don't like to be that way, but you're like you said earlier, but there's a scar there.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's even healed, but it's still there.
Right.
And sometimes you're calling me at the wrong time, and I'm just like, I can't.
Right.
So that's why I was like, I can relate to Michelle on this right here, because I'm just like, blank if I do, blank if I don't.
Exactly.
I mean,
And to me, honestly, when you find healing and you find restoration and you understand who your source is, and you feel that fatherly love from God, how can you not?
Right.
How can you not feel closure?
Yeah.
If my father chose to not be in my life, the reasons he may just take to the grave, and I'm fine with that. But knowing my identity and being as authentic as I can be, as that's my journey and my quest to just be as authentic, as raw Michelle as I can. Knowing that and knowing my identity in Christ allows me to be okay with him not being in my life. You know, I wasn't searching too much for this, that, or you have to hold me, or you have to tell me I'm your princess, or you have to walk me down the aisle. God didn't have that in the plans for me. And it's okay, because what if I would have had a father in my life, but he would have abused me, and that would have left a bigger scar, and as a result, I would have not been a good wife. You know what I mean? So all the paths and all the veins of things that can happen, why do you question or even have that self-pity party and call yourself a victim when you have the power to just take it back and say, no, this is the life that the Lord chose for me. I'm very happy. I am sickness free. I have peace. I have a family. So you have to hold on to the things that bless you.
I love her. She gives the best advice. Let's go back again to your summer 2014. And we talked about this in part 1, but I'm going to change this question up. Do you think your breaking point came from not talking to someone about everything you went through?
Absolutely, 100%. And it gives me chills even right now. Because if I would have talked to somebody, it would have been less. It would have been like the release, we said, the Me Too campaign, that now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. Well, that's what it seems like I didn't do, but I waited till it was too late to then pour everything out. And my poor husband had to sit there and endure and listen to all this, because when I had my breaking point before I went to the therapist, I spewed out every single thing that happened to me, and he was just like, okay, I didn't even know that existed. I don't know who this person is. I didn't know she did that to you. I didn't know he did that to you. And it was just a cry for help and oh my God, like a release that was so huge but could have been so detrimental had I not had the Lord to scoop up all my junk and put me back together, because I was so broken and I was so devastated that I thought there was a point of no return. Like I thought that because I had held the facade and claimed to be strong for so many years, that after 4 decades, it was just too much.
And I want people to understand, I know Shell has talked about therapists, but it is okay to get professional help.
Absolutely.
I have gotten professional help.
There's a lot going on between the 6 inches of your ears, and if you're not a professional, you don't know what's going on in your own head, and you can't self-diagnose, and you can't self-help, and there's so many books you can read. I read a myriad of self-help books, and while it kept me sane and allowed me to see that other people also have the same flaws that I do, it didn't help me with my healing, my hurt, my scars, my deep roots, nothing.
And I remember my first day in therapy.
I was embarrassed. I was like, girl, I don't need help, you need help.
I cried.
Meanwhile, she had the degree. I was like bawling too, like, why am I here?
I think I used half the box of tissue. So she was like, it's in the cost. Just go get it, use over. It's like, oh my God. And it felt like a pity party.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a pity party. It was all the emotion coming out. And then the next day of therapy, I was like, I'm really laughing about this. This is crazy.
I will tell you, it was a little bit surreal for me, because when I had my breaking point and whatever happened in 2014 that I fully detail in the book, you're gonna want to read it. When that happened, it wasn't like, okay, my 3-year journey and my 3-year healing was just a process of restoration and making sure that yes, that band-aid is uncovered, that wound is fixed, and you got Botox on that bad boy, like it's good. It's no longer there. You can see again.
My eyebrows.
It was like God just went, snap, you're good. Because it wasn't a gruesome process. So that's why I encourage everybody, seek help, talk about it before that happens, and you might not be able to handle it. If you've read my book, you know the devastation I went through in 2014, the mind games, the sleep deprivation. I didn't sleep for almost a month, and nobody knew. And when my husband,
then she was called Melissa.
That lady was cray cray.
I said I wish I was her roommate. I like her name is not Melissa, it's Michelle, honey.
Right?
So I would have got straight ghetto.
No, and then, you know, in trying to get my health back and in trying to get me to sleep, they put me in with like the craziest lady in the hospital, and I'm like, God, this is not you. I know it's not you.
If you turn this into a movie, can I play her, please?
You could. You just have to bang your head on the bed a few times and then ask me to, can you bathe me? Can you bathe me, Melissa? No, I'm not your nurse. I'm not Melissa. Bye, Felicia.
She said Melissa.
Oh my
That's
God.
how I interpreted Melissa. I'm like,
No, it was terrible.
I think I read that part about 3 times. I said, I want to play her. I really do.
Lifetime of Hallmark. Tune in. You gonna see this video, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is a movie.
You wish you could play. I'm gonna play the
I'm
crazy.
gonna have Sandra Bullock play me. How do you think? What do you think? Sandy, you up for it?
I gotta get my life together. Michelle is gonna get me. Okay, Michelle, I want to read this out of your book. This is gonna sum up everything. One thing that stands out to me. I need my glasses on. I'm sorry. One thing that stands out to me from those days in the bathroom was very dark, and the light switch was outside the bathroom door. Anytime I would go in for a shower, my roommate would get up and turn off the light. Let me say that again so they can get it. I would go in for a shower, my roommate would get up and turn off the light. I'd yell, hey, can you turn the light back on? Little did I know that was the phrase that would put me on my true journey of healing, self-discovery, a closer walk with the Lord, and a stronger foundation in my life. Could you provide more insight on that turning point in your life? Who would have known that the power of your healing was going to be outside of your shower?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal because I was coming towards the end of my stay at the hospital, but I didn't know that yet. But things were just clearer. They had changed my roommate to this roommate that really just appreciated quiet, and she read a lot, and she had dementia, so she would sneak out of her house, and that's why she was there. Everybody was there for different reasons. And that's when it hit me. All at the same time. Just taking a shower. She turned off the light because she thought I wasn't there and she was leaving the room. But when she did that and it was totally black, I was like, God, okay, you don't want us to live in darkness. You want us to be able to see what's ahead of us so that we can see danger. Whether it's danger in the mind, in the mindset, what we're thinking, a trap, something with a family member, work, whatever. I can go on and on. Darkness and ignorance is just the absence of light. And when I couldn't see, and I also saw the dangers because I had dropped the soap, and I said, oh my God, if you can't see, there's so many things that can go wrong. That when I yelled to her, hey, can you turn the light back on? Because I didn't want her to leave me there in the dark and me maybe slip on the... I said, God, I am not going out this way. Like, I was still in a very fragile state. And the bathroom wasn't that ideal, you know, ergonomically. I didn't want to slip and fall. So I held on to, like, the wheelchair bars, and I screamed out to her. And when she flicked that light on, it's like something in me just said, I got you, and I'm always here. And even when it's dark, I am your light. So even if it's introspective and you have to turn off the light sometimes to be obscured or to not be seen, but you're trying to find peace, or you're trying to find a moment, there's still light in darkness when you have the Lord and when you have clarity and truth. Because light doesn't just stand for the sun or light or the Lord. Like, we use it as synonyms to mean other things, enlightenment, you know, hope, whatever. So it was just a turning point for me that I knew I was going to be okay.
Right.
You know?
So are we expecting another book after this?
Well, I have one that I already kind of wrote the table of contents and the some of the structure for it, but it's on life coaching.
Okay.
And it's a self-help book to help people that think, you know, do they want a life coach, or what is a life coach? So The title is Go Coach Yourself.
Oh, nice. I like that. And I want you to talk about life coaching because I know you're, oh, if y'all need help with your finances, loans, mortgage, whatever, contact my bro. Author, life coach, and tell people what is a life coach because it's okay to have a life coach.
Absolutely, I have
wonderful.
two.
Yeah.
So a life coach is just somebody that kind of puts you back on track to what you were meant to do in your destiny and your calling in this world. We all have unique gifts, and sometimes when we get stuck in the mundane or the everyday motions, we lose ourselves because we're cooking, we're cleaning, going to work, and we kind of lose our passion and we lose the things that we were predestined already with gifts to be able to do and pour it back into society. What a life coach does is, holds you accountable to your things, helps you achieve your dreams, helps you hit all your goals and your marks, and helps you create new daily habits to get you to be able to sustain that on your own. So what I do is I have a package to where I set the client on an 8-week journey, and the first part of it is a self-discovery. So I do like a Myers-Briggs personality test, I do a cores and value assessment, and I do a strength and weakness assessment. Because if you don't know where your weaknesses are, or you don't know where your strengths are, then how do you know how you best learn and how you're affected, and how is it that you tackle a goal? Why is it that you procrastinate? Why is it that you never finish out at the gym? Why is it that you don't stick to that meal plan? Why haven't you written that book? Why haven't you changed your career? Why haven't you fixed that relationship? Why haven't you left that relationship? There's so many different things that a life coach can help put on the radar of your plate, and what I'm good at is looking at your plate and not letting you fill it. Don't overfill it, don't topple, because that's an equation for disaster. It's not a measure of success when you have all these things and you want to just say yes, yes, yes to everything. Well, say yes to yourself.
So, turn the light back on, movie.
That would be awesome. Yes.
I'm just saying.
Speak that, girl.
I just want to. Listen, Michelle. I have a 4-page acting resume. Okay.
I know she wants to put her talents to use.
Listen, I just want to play the crazy lady that said, Melissa! She is going to cut my head off, y'all. I swear. I just want... I can pick all my hair out. And I just... No. Like that, like Diana Ross and the lady sings the blues. I think that's the name of it. She was on the...
I whip my hair back and forth.
I was like, I could be her.
Girl.
Melissa! She's gonna get me. I'm sorry. Listen, tell people how they can get their book, and it's not 2 for $50, y'all. I'm gonna show out.
Look, guys, the book's on Amazon. You go to Amazon.com, and on the search field, you type in "Turn the Light Back On" Michelle Kirby, and it pops up with the Kindle edition, which is electronic, and the paperback. So you can do that, or you can also go to my website, which is michellekirby.me. And when you look at the tabs on top, just click on store, click on order book, and PayPal.
Social media?
Social media. Also, I'm on Facebook as Michelle Kirby, and on Instagram, I am the real Michelle Kirby. So follow me, let's connect, and you can shoot me questions. You can ask me again how to find the book, or you can tell me something that you related to that we've talked about today. I'm here to serve, I'm here to help and empower you, and just let you know that the sky is not even the limit, because we landed on the moon.
And your book ain't got to look like mine.
No, it should look like this, and you should just get a journal. Because at the end, I ask questions out of every chapter. I give you my aha moment.
Her aha
and then I ask you for your aha moment, and I give space. But if you're a writer like me, you're going to need a journal.
That was clever.
So that you can write it in the journal and just self-reflect. Yeah, that's when you turn the light back on and something clicks. And we remember things that we suppress when we put our minds to it.
We do.
But it's so important.
Okay, Michelle Kirby. Thank you for kicking off this 2018 year, boo.
You are welcome. It was my pleasure.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
A great tool for healing. I'm serious, y'all. You wouldn't believe how impactful this book is going to be. You wouldn't believe the aha moments. What's your aha moment? I really like how you want your readers to be engaged. And this is your aha moment. And be honest with yourself. This is just between you and God. This is your book, and you can, write notes in it, or you can have it look ghetto like mine, index cards, different color sticky notes, or whatever. You do what you gotta do.
My OCD's killing me right now.
You do what you gotta do to make it work for you. And so I just want to say many blessings to you. You self-published this bad boy right here. Girl, do your thing. Ain't nobody mad at you but the devil. Okay, my bad. I'm gonna be on my best behavior. Thank you. Come back anytime you want to.
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna play the crazy woman. She gonna
Stop.
put me in this movie. She think I'm playing. She gonna put me in the movie. Michelle Kirby. Sophia Duke. Love you. I love you, boo.
Love you too.
Don't wait 5 years to be back on the show again because
I
your
won't.
feelings hurt. I'm just joking because she's Dominican and Puerto Rican.
I will cut you.
Hold on, let me find it. Here we go. Alright, we're gonna do it like this. Hold on. Yeah. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. That was dope. I like that. Hold on. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. A dope dealer. That was dope. We call that dope dealer ghost. What's happening, homie? I don't have a ratchet or a badge on me. I ain't come to take nothing from you. Our losses are already bad, homie. You remind me of my little brother, but we not getting into that story. Let's just say for the past 8 years, he's been what we call a state employee. But I know you'll take that risk. Get some work, break it down, make it flip. You got a business sense. You can take your re-up and own like half this trip. That's ownership if you're ready. But this is where it gets heavy. You chase the cheese, they chasing you. That's an episode of Tom and Jerry. Y'all gotta smarten up. To lose in this world, you was already dark enough. And God's will's right in your pocket, bruh. Your dollar bill saying God we trust. Do you trust him? I'm asking. I wish I could've asked Maston. I wish I could've asked Gerald. I couldn't even carry Nick Casket. My dad been gone for like 12 years. Sometime he call, I just ignore it. Cause he don't remember my daughter's names. Don't know how many times I done told him. Look, you choosing life or death. It's only Christ, ain't no dices left. Look, you better write your steps. I think I might have got me a cell. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. That was dope. Yeah. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. That was dope. Yeah. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. A dope dealer. That was dope. Mr. Dope Dealer. Call me Hope Dealer. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. A dope dealer. That was dope. We call that dope dealer ghost.
He was left alone with no love lost. Made a vow one day to be his own boss. He and the preacher had long talks, but the gospel usually got shoved off. No disrespect on his part intended. The word of God can be so offensive. Control your temper. He wanna be the plug, but he's still on the corner in the cold December. My first bid was like 07. That mini Glock had to hold 11. They took it off me, it was so depressing. I knew the game, I should've thrown a weapon. 2010 is when I met Cedric. A lot more than just crack possession. Every now and then I would add the message when we had discussions about past regrets, and we would conversate and move chess pieces. It became a stress reliever. Both determined to escape evil, so I questioned if he ever met Jesus. What a perfect time to be acquainted with him. The game only had pain to give him. Money came and it became addictive, but being smart ain't the same as wisdom. I can tell in his mind he was contemplating to accept God could be a hard decision. Christ died so we could be forgiven, and then he rose so I'ma keep living. Ain't saying everything good after this, but we gotta be ready when the rapture hit. This the moment of your life, better capture this. But everything got a price, what you got to give?
So that gospel to a dope dealer. That was dope. Yeah. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. That was dope. Yeah. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. A dope dealer. That was dope. Mr. Dope Dealer. Call me Hope Dealer. I sold that gospel to a dope dealer. A dope dealer. That was dope. We call that dope dealer ghost.
God showed me the heart of my brother. You're more than another dope dealer, yeah. Dope dealer, yeah. I'll show you the impossible. I sold you the gospel. Dope dealer, yeah. Dope dealer, yeah. You don't gotta be labeled. You can eat at the table, Mr. Dope. find some fun with this one.